What's happening with the Poetic Mindshift TV? Look, I want to get deep with y'all, man, right now, man, right quick. I'm not going to hold you too long, but look, I want to talk about isolation, man. I want to talk about isolation. I want to talk about solitude, right? Really, solitude is just you being alone. Isolation is you being alone and you keeping yourself away from society, right? Or keeping yourself, you're not too sociable, put it like that. So check this out. The benefits are coming from doing that. Me, myself, when I was, because when I'm talking to myself, I'm talking to y'all. When I was starting isolating myself, I started isolating myself during coronavirus. So during the coronavirus time, and I isolated myself because I wanted to separate myself, just separate myself from people and just friends, family, the whole nine. Me and my ex ended up breaking up. I ended up going to get my own place, and just basically just separating from the family. I still, still had my sons, with me or whatever, and I was still. But I end up neglecting my daughter, which right now I really just hate that it even happened. But me and her, we're having it's a more better of a relationship than it was then. I get her more often. I talk to her more often and things like that. But it was a time that I neglected her. And it was a time that it was needed for me to do that. I really hated I did that, but things are better now. But look, I want to just tell you, man, just the benefits from coming from it, man. The benefits that came out of it, man. It's just me, finding out certain methods about myself. Just finding out that I had so much suppressed inside of me, man. I had a lot of built-in bitterness, grievedness, anger. I had a lot of stuff built in me, right? So all that stuff started manifesting out of me. It started coming out. I'm crying. I'm getting all of it out. The bitterness, I'm getting it all out of me, right? But I had to separate myself from people to be able to do that, because it was a time that I couldn't even cry. It was a time that I couldn't let my anger out. It was time I couldn't let my bitterness out. It was a time that I couldn't get my emotions out. So last time I got my emotions out, man, when I cried with my ex, and it was about my father. So I ended up crying, grieving over my father. I was grieving over my father, loss of my father that died that he passed away in 2009. But, I was still grieving about it. So I was crying about it, whatever. And that was the last time I cried. So that was years, that was long time, when I cried then. So everything's just really kind of pulled out. And, I learned different methods of how to get my emotions out, because it was a time I didn't know how to express my emotions. I didn't know what I was feeling. I didn't know how I was feeling, where the feeling was coming from. Didn't know nothing about that, right? So I had to learn it. I had to pinpoint my own emotions. You feel me? So I'm more better off like that. But I would have never got there if I didn't do isolation. If I didn't isolate myself, I didn't do solitude. I didn't have any kind of solitude. But I ended up learning, that I had a creative side. The creative side started coming out of me. I used to draw. I used to do music. I used to do the whole thing. Growing up. But it got to the point that I stopped doing it, right? I got to the point because you got to be honest with you, society really don't accept a lot of things like that. It's either you get a job, you go to school, whatever like that. There ain't nobody really worrying about you being no artist or nothing like that, right? So you don't get no support from that, right? So I end up suppressing it. That ended up coming out of me. You understand what I'm saying? So that's really the main reason why I started this channel. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, that came out of me. And it was a few other things. I ended up working out, man, started exercising. I started losing weight. And this was all going through the coronavirus time. I stopped having sex. I stopped having sex, man, for like a year and a half, man, almost 2 years. And it was good for me because it taught me how to control my sexual urges. So it was a benefit for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm having sex on like I should now. But it was a time, it was just, I completely shut it down, but it taught me how to control my urges. It taught me how to be self-disciplined when it comes to sex. Don't get me wrong, I slip here and now and then, but, it really helped me. God's honest truth, it helped me. But, man, it's just, I end up just quitting my drugs. Yeah, I know about the drugs and the alcohol. They end up helping me isolate myself, end up quitting that, because you're not constantly at the clubs. You're not constantly at the bars. You're not constantly with the same old people that's doing all the same things that, just doing the same things like everybody else is doing, which is getting high and drinking, right? So that helped me. Ended up going back into school. So I got a lot of benefits from it, man. Just really separate myself from family, separate myself from friends, and just really separate myself from people, man. It really was very, very beneficial. Now, don't get me wrong, your dark demons gonna come out. So be prepared for it. If you want to isolate yourself, you're gonna be or want to be alone and separated from people, and you can isolate yourself and still be going to work and all that. You understand what I'm saying? A person that goes to work and just come back home, that's a person that isolates themselves. If you're not being social, as far as like being in events, meeting with strangers and all this type of stuff, you're not being social. You understand? So, yeah, you have to. It'll benefit you. It'll benefit you like it should. It will benefit like you should. Now, what type of effects that you get from it? Where I had got affected from it, started losing memory. I started having paranoia. I started being paranoid. I stopped getting to the point that I enjoy certain things that I used to enjoy. Now, when you're doing this, you have to get yourself out of this because the brain is tricky. The brain will tell you that this is not good when it's actually good. It might be something you used to do and it'll tell you that it's not good for you to do. So you got to realize more things, the bad things are really good. The bad things, the things that make you feel like, man, I don't want to do that. That's bad. That's good for you. That's where you need to go because that's what the brain likes. The brain likes challenges. The brain likes to face fears. You understand what I'm saying? And it's going to help you really connect those wires in your brain like it should be. You know what I'm saying? So do that. And it's going to help you start being more sociable, even though you're going to be scared. Start reaching out for people. Some people might text you on the phone and you don't want to get back for them to about 5 or 6 days. And if that's the case, then make sure you tell them, be real with them. Say, man, look, I'm going through something. And look, I will get, this is the reason why I'm getting back with you in 5 or 6 days. That might be uncomfortable, but that's just real, right? You got to get uncomfortable. You got to start facing your fears. That's the only reason why that's the only way the brain will start rewiring itself after you stop isolating yourself, after you was isolating yourself. I'm trying to correct it now, but I'm speeding by it because I got something I got to do. But yeah, man, isolation is very good. You will find out. I found out so much about myself that I never knew. I found out what type of man, what I was pretending to be and what I really am. Cause I used to be influenced. That's just how it is, man. I used to be so influenced by other people and not influenced by myself. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it be sometimes, man, in this life. I'm just speaking on myself because I don't know nobody else that's going through it. I don't know if anybody else might be going through it, but that's what I was going through, and I need to find who I wanted to be, and I'm not all the way there yet, but I have an idea. That idea was never there until I isolated myself. The idea was completely not there. Now I have ideas of who I am and what I want to be, right? So, man, just don't be afraid to be alone, man. A lot of us are afraid to be alone. I was afraid to be alone. It was a time, man, just separating from my ex or separating from my kids and stuff like that. I was afraid of being alone, man. But now I love being alone. I ain't gonna say alone, I just want to be alone. Now, like, real talk, I can enjoy being by myself. It was a point in time that I could not be by myself, but don't let it go too far because a lot of people let that stuff go too far. Being alone too much. And it's a time when you just alone too much, right? But it's needed though. If you're a type of person that's been around people all your life, you need to be alone. You really need to find out who you are and your purpose. It's going to help you find your purpose. But you cannot be afraid to be alone. Most of us are afraid to be alone. We end up in these marriages. We end up in these certain type of places, and we do not want to be alone. So you have to be alone. Be alone, man. Be to yourself, man. It's going to help. It's really going to help you. Really help you build the character or that or build a person that's in your head, because that person is already in your head. You just gotta get him out. You gotta get him out your head. You know, what you want to be, man, those dreams and all that, man, all that stuff that's in your head, them visions in your head, you can be that, but you got to, I'm not saying isolation is the only thing, but it's the key, but, or it's the, like, you know, it's an art though. It's an art that you can use, you know, like a martial, like a karate or jitsu or martial artist or, you know, things like that. It's a technique that you can use. You understand what I'm saying? So, but a lot of people are bothered with being alone. A lot of people are bothered being alone. And it's nothing wrong with turning that direction towards you. You know, we all tend to pay attention to everybody else instead of paying attention to the person in the mirror. You know, and I'm telling you, when I started my isolation, man, I was looking at a person in the mirror that I did not know who he was. I didn't know who he was. I'm like, I was lost. Now I got an idea of what this man should be. And what this man should become. You know? I want to be. What is be? Be is action. You know? Be. You know? So, man, just, man, it's nothing wrong with it, man. There's nothing wrong with it. If you're going through a relationship, you're going through anything, man. Just friends don't want to call you or friends don't want to be around. It's okay, man. It's okay to be alone, man. It's okay. Don't let it drive you into because a lot of people, man, commit suicide. They end up doing things that they shouldn't do because they can't accept being alone. You know, and it's a lot of people that's being, you know, it's a lot of people be around other people and they still feel alone. You know, you got to remember, man, you came in this world alone, man, so you're going to die alone. You know, so it's nothing wrong with being alone. It's nothing wrong with it at all. Trust me, man. I feel it had got to the point, man, I started feeling too good being alone. Because you gotta understand, it's just so many people, you're dealing with so many people. You're dealing with so many personalities and characters and stuff. You get to the point, man, you forget about your own self. Which that's the important person. You're the most important one. You're the most important person. So it's nothing wrong with you being alone, but them demons are coming. So I'm just letting you know, I had to deal with a lot of demons. And it's getting to the point, man, I wrestle with myself a lot. But now it's getting to the point, man, I know who I'm wrestling with. If I hope I ain't sounding too crazy. I hope I ain't sounding too scary to nobody. But I didn't found, you know, I know who I'm wrestling with now. You know, so it's just, I have to, you know, like I said, it's like a technique, it's a skill that you got to use. So I'm really trying to find a balance with it. And, you know, I pray to God that I be able to find that balance, you know, but I would have never even found that balance, man. I would have never found that person or whatever is like, I'm trying to wrestle with, that angel or demon I'm trying to wrestle with, if I would have never had some type of solitude or some type of, or if I didn't have my isolation, if I didn't go through the isolation. You learn so much about yourself. There's so much stuff I learned about myself that I didn't know I had certain beliefs that I should not believe. And that's definitely going to come. You're going to be seeing certain beliefs about yourself and you like, hold up, why I'm still believing in this? Like, this is stupid. Why am I believing in stuff like this? I don't really believe that, but it's something that you was taught. It's something that you got from somebody else. You understand what I'm saying? So, be you. Be true to you. Be yourself. You know, and it's going to help you find your purpose, man. I don't know what your purpose is. I don't know what you want to be in life. You know, you might want to be a porn star. You might want to be you probably want to build you a school. You probably want to, you probably want to do things. I don't know what you want to do. I don't know. I ain't got the answers. But I'm telling you, isolation would definitely help you get to your answer. Solitude would definitely help you get to your answer. Being alone will help you find exactly what you want to do. And if it don't be exactly what you're going to do, you're going to at least have some type of an idea in your head of like, okay, maybe I should do this. And then whatever that is, you just run with it. But you gotta find a way, man, to be by yourself, man. Go to the park, go do something, man. Find a way to be by yourself. It's very good for you. It's gonna be very good. I promise you. I promise you. But anyway, man, look, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Hit that notification bell, man. I hate I held y'all too long, man. But look, I'm just the little brother on the corner, or the big brother on the corner, and man, I'm just pulling you to the side, man, to try to put you up on some game, man. Like, subscribe, and comment, and share. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever platform you on. Love, peace, and power.